Oh,
Well, everybody, welcome to The Cat and the Mat.
yes. It's the second, third episode ever of Just the Cat and the Mat. I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah. I
Yeah.
guess Tracker had to bail out because of some school stuff. He's going to school. He's going to night school. That's why.
We take him to school every day with our charts. Ooh, no.
That's okay. You gotta do what you gotta do. Are you showing my chart? Why don't you let
Oh
me
yeah,
know?
I am. I can show mine, I guess. Yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
let me repost this link here too to my channel. Yeah, I'm doing a live stream with the cats and the mats on simultaneously. See how fast I can type. Anyway, I'm gonna do that while you talk. I want to know what's going on with Bitcoin, man. What's going on tonight?
Wait, does it still say Matsby's morning on my X? I don't understand. I
It
changed it.
does.
Yeah,
It
that's so
does.
weird. I
Yeah, it's
changed it.
buggy.
I
It's
changed
very
it
buggy.
on. Yeah, it's super buggy. Stupid X. X needs to fix their stuff. But yeah, it's not morning anybody. Well, it is for Danny. It's morning over there. So
I don't think anybody care about that though. I think they probably care about what Bitcoin's doing tonight.
yeah. Who cares? Who cares what it says on my Matsby's morning on Twitter, on X, whatever. Just ignore that. Go to YouTube. It's a better stream, anyways. And yeah, so we got the Bitcoin chart pulled up. We saw some crazy price action in the last hour, 2 hours, whatever. 30 minutes recently. Yeah. But let me get rid of that stuff right here. Yeah, so I have my log scale again pulled up here, and it's still nothing dangerous looking at all. It's still just battling that green level like it should be doing. And it already back tested that arc where it was resistance and now support. So I don't really see it necessary to go back down there anymore. So it's just doing what it should be doing. And the Ichimoku, I believe, is kind of dictating things right now, where it's trying to just test that conversion line right there as a support on a week basis. So I still believe that there's a good possibility that on the Sunday night close at 8 p.m., it'll probably close above that, maybe even above everything again. It could be just another wick, right? That's been a trend over the last, I don't know, year, really. Look at all these wicks down. Lots of demand, really. Lots of demand for Bitcoin whenever it gets low. So I could see this turning into a wick. I am not scared about it at all. Even when I want to go to the Bitcoin on my linear scale chart, you can see that it almost even hit uh, the baseline there at 57,563. So is it still possible to come back down there and hit it? Yeah, of course it is, right? So maybe the damage is not all done yet. It's still possible to get back there. But what we see here is just still battling that orange level as well. Possibly it can close the week back above it as well, which is 61.3, that important level that I've been talking about forever, really, recently. And once again, it's still there. But I think the thing is, when you look to the left of the chart here around like current price, you can see so many daily candles in that zone. And I think it's really important zone. So I do believe this is going to probably hold going into tomorrow and also the weekly candle close. What about your thoughts, Kat?
Yeah, I think it's still early. I mean, today is just Tuesday. Whatever shenanigans they want to do, it's hard to say because Nvidia's earning is tomorrow. Maybe this is like a reflection that tomorrow is going to be a big flush down again before they can push things up higher. It's kind of really hard to say.
Yeah, it's like they're creating their own liquidity right now just to scare the market when actually they just want to shoot it up higher. Yeah.
That's what it feels like. I mean, like all this is speculation. I think the key thing though is looking at your higher time frame. It still looks like it's still got a pretty bullish market structure. I think that's going to be the story.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I mean, if I can show kind of like my stuff here a little bit in terms of what I think.
Yeah. Well, one thing I wanted to show is just a trend-based fib, something that Tracker likes to do since he's not here.
Yeah, we'll do this in his memories.
Yeah. Like if I just take off the GAN right there, you can see that it's just back testing that 236 zone at 57 right there. Really, right? That's trend based from this low up to the high for a retrace here. So that 57.8 level does look pretty powerful there. So I don't know how scared I would be And you can see how accurate really this trend-based fib from that low right there has been. It's been pretty accurate so far with all these levels, like the 618, super important. The 5, the 382 is even important right there. And now finally the 236. So I think max pain, you're probably looking around 57.5. Really, that's what I see. And now it's your turn, Kat.
Specifically 57.5. You said
Specifically, yes.
Okay.
Don't
I
mind
just,
my words.
which date is that going to happen? No,
I'm gonna create a shirt that says specifically 7.5, 57.5.
and I would not buy it because I'm too cheap. Anyway,
Damn it.
I do think, like, if you look at the Bollinger Band from this cycle and last cycle, I do see a little bit of a fractal. You know, if you kind of look at it, the way I kind of see it is that price really over the last 2 years had bottomed, and then it has challenged the 20-month moving average. This is a monthly chart, obviously. Challenged the 20-month moving average. You know, initially it was like resistance, and flipped into support, and then it just goes higher, right? And then as it goes, the 20-month moving average actually changed trend from being negative to positive. I can see that kind of very similar characteristic pattern. If you kind of look at like over here to like the price action over here, I can see it being a little bit similar, although it did take a little bit of a different trajectory from like November 2000 or December 2018 all the way up to maybe like September 2020. You know, I can see that kind of challenging the upper Bollinger Band, and then like kind of hang around the 20 here, waiting for it to kind of turn positive. And then as it turned positive, it did have a little bit of a scare over here, and it did nothing for like a whole year, right? After this big giant move up here that like 4x's, it just did nothing for like a whole year. So I can see a little bit of correlate here. Like it did nothing over here for like a whole year, and next thing you know, it just shot up for like 6 months, kind of like how it shot over here for like 4 or 5 months, and it did nothing for 6 months, right? So I see a lot of correlate. It all looks like the trajectory is very, very similar. You know what I mean? It's like it's trying to do the same thing, but it's just taking a little bit of a different path, if you will.
That looks
So,
good observation.
Yeah, like so to me, like actually this market structure over here looks better than the market structure over here, because you clearly have like higher lows and higher highs so far in its cycle. So it still favors bullish continuation until like things really got like start to challenge and fall underneath like the 20-month, like it did over here. You know, like you know, I really don't think that really the bull market has really necessarily begin like that really strong last phase quite just yet. Even look at a Bollinger Band, it did a very similar thing. Like the bottom over here kind of did a little bit of a contraction as things kind of went sideways, and then it kind of like maybe I guess it'll like expand a little bit and then it contract even tighter. So I kind of see like a very, very similar kind of pattern over here too, right? It's just basically been consolidating. We haven't really had that euphoric phase where like the Bollinger Band just completely expands, where you have like that huge run up. Like it just simply hasn't happened in Bitcoin. And also the sentiment also simply hasn't happened in that Bitcoin either, right? And also if you look at the weekly, I still think that this fractal seemed to be working out, you know, very similar compared to last year. So I don't know. I still think that currently the 20-week moving average is starting to turn a little bit more and more flat. It might take another, you know, couple of weeks or so before it really truly change this trend back to positive, kind of like it did over here. Right? I kind of see like a little bit of correlation between this spot over here and this spot over here. That's kind of where I'm seeing. And overall, it's just like a lower time frame correction to, and I don't know how low it's going to go. Like potentially go down a lot lower. I don't know, but that's kind of how I'm seeing this. So today, it's just a little bit of a scared. Even if you look at like a lower time frame, like there's still like support underneath, you know, like on the daily, like you said, on the weekly, there's still like a lot of supports underneath that is just kind of back testing. So I'm not that scared. You know, last week was just a little bit too fast and broke about, like kind of like how Tesla broke about like multiple resistance, and we're just kind of back testing one of the resistance as support here. I'm not that scared on a lower time frame either.
How's the Super Ichi looking?
The Super Ichi looks great. The Super Ichi actually tells me you might be ready.
Yeah, it's touching the cloud. Finally, it back tested the cloud after all that time. Yeah.
After all the time, you flip resistance to support, right? And the 2 week looks even nicer because it's basically just range bound, you know, between the conversion and the baseline here. there's really like on the monthly, it looks even better. Like it's right now it's back about the 10 here, right? Super trend is intact. Like there's really nothing scary on like these higher time frame chart, even on the weekly. Like the super trend is still intact, and basically it's probably just bouncing on the Sabichi cloud, right? On the Ichimoku, I guess it's still a little bit further away, but hey, it doesn't have to, So yeah, I'm done talking about it. You want to take it over?
But there's this comment here. So Bitcoin is going to zero by Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know. I think he's got a point there. He's got a point.
Yeah, he's an interesting AI dude. I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah, and we got our good friends Fetchin, Vivian. Vivian's like one of my big supporter. To the point that I'm like, hey, are you sure you have nobody else to talk to? Just commenting on my post. No, I'm just kidding, Vivian. Thank you so much for posting.
But she had that comment. Did you see that? The far side BTC inflows.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So I mean, she's very like I there are a lot of these like really smart commenters. They just like don't post on their own. They just comment on people's stuff. I wish they would just post more. But anyway, yeah. Go for it, man. Take over.
Well, we got Bitcoin going on. I think it's even kind of recovering a little bit. So are we going to move to stocks now, or do we want to see more crypto?
It's up to you. I think you talk about stocks this morning. You wanted to talk a little bit more about crypto. We can.
Yeah, we can always circle back to crypto later, but maybe let's just pull up. Let's see. Since NVIDIA is reporting, should we just talk about that?
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want, or if you want me to talk about either way.
I'll show my screen real quick.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, here is my NVIDIA chart. So it's still making, on a high time frame, it's still making lower highs, right? From the top, lower high, lower high, lower high. So it's still not really breaking out at all yet. So where does that really lead us to? I think maybe the daily Ichimoku could have some clues right here that possibly, depending on tomorrow, like it could start trending down the cloud, right? It could just start doing that, or it could just do one giant candle all the way down, right? And I see like so much confluence around like the 114 down to the 110 zone on every time frame, really. So is that going to be like the flush down where the bottom is and then a build up higher? I don't know. Like look at the 4-hour chart, like right down at the bottom of the cloud is like 110. The daily chart, the baseline is 110. The weekly chart, what's down here, 113, the conversion line. Even the baseline's down at 108, just in that range, right? So, and even my 45-degree angle right there sits at 110. So it's like, does price really want to backtest? I don't know. But there's a lot of like different things around that zone that just kind of make sense to me that maybe that's a possibility, right? So
Right.
Not too sure, but I think what I do see, though, it's still bullish no matter what happens. Even if it went down there, that's still a bullish formation, just a simple back test and a continuation higher. But I guess we'll find out after the close tomorrow. And then what would be really good is just to see like a breakout to make a higher high. But if that doesn't happen, then I think price will still trend lower because the trend is still lower highs. What about you, Kat?
If you flip back into my screen like you flip cats, there you go. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you're talking, so I always like, this is a weekly chart for NVIDIA and talking personality. I always like this combination where you hit the low Bollinger Band and then break back above the 20-week and then like kind of get close to or touch the upper Bollinger Band and come back and retrace the median bounce. And that's when like usually a big giant move ends up happening, right? And this happens over and over again for NVIDIA. Like this happened over here again before, right? Where you just have, price from upper Bollinger Band, touch the lower, bounce back above, touch the 20, and then just bounce, right? This is a pretty classic kind of thing. I did like a little bit of educational video on my YouTube for my members. I basically just was telling you like about this pattern too. You like bounce, back test, and it just kept going up a lot higher, right? So this kind of pattern happens over and over again for NVIDIA. So I can totally see that happening maybe for the daily, where right now we're looking, like you said, there's another confluence level down here too, is the 20 week moving average, and if you also want to add the support band Oh, it looks creepy. Okay, never mind that. But if you like look at the 20 day moving average is like 116, right? So I can totally see it coming back test this area, dip down below, find support, and then that's going to create the big bounce it needs. Because right now it's rolling over. Like there's no other way to put this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the weekly too, another confluence for you is like the 20 weakest point. It's like, what is it, or 111 right now?
Yeah, that's right in that zone. It's like so many things on almost every time frame. I didn't check the 1 second chart, so I'm not too sure, but like
yeah. No, but I think that on the 1 second chart, I'll show you that in a second. No, I'm just kidding. But I can totally see it coming down here, maybe a little bit lower to 110, really solidified this support zone over here, and then bounce up, right? I mean, same thing. You show the cloud. There are a lot of supports there on the weekly. There's not really a whole lot of surprise. I think that this would be a healthy thing to close the month of August, and that would actually surprise a lot of people in September, because a lot of people really think that September is going to be really bearish month. It could still be, but I just, I don't know if it has to be or not. The reason why I don't think that the earnings, no matter how good it is, and it's going to be probably really good, no matter how good it is, the market's going to react to it. Maybe either a little bit muted, or maybe just kind of drop back down to like a little bit to like the 110s or something like that. I can see that happening, just because the upper Bollinger Band is right here around 130.9. I just have a hard time seeing price just go up like 10, close the month like above. Like that would actually not be a healthy thing. I want it to be a muted response, does nothing, or go back down a little lower. Maybe even just have a little like doji candle or something like that. And then the Bollinger Band experiment continue to expand, and then the next couple of months, the positive earning is going to end up having a positive reaction that is going to happen after they eat all your like puts and calls and stuff like that. That's kind of how I see it. Same thing with the swimming with the Ichimoku. I think it's if it closes a month like in the run 130s or something like that, it's going to be still way too far away from the Tenkan or from the conversion line, which I wouldn't like. I actually would like for price to just continue, maybe even trend sideways up a little bit while the conversion line kind of catches up, right? So I'm not that bullish short term on NVIDIA either. I think we both agree on that, which is kind of sick. I even talk if you get to talk, and vice versa. but I think I agree. Like in the short time frame on the weekly, it's probably going to go down first before up. How far down? I don't know. 110 seems to be a good area. So.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome zone, because that would be my 45-degree angle too. So people would be freaking out, and it could be bad for all the other stocks too. It could be bad for Tesla and whatever, and we don't know. But essentially, it's just back testing a range though, and that's really healthy for the longer term, and that's what you want to see. So nobody should panic about that. I mean, mind you, 110 is still good because it was at 90 just a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing bearish about this chart on the longer term. I'm just putting up like some order blocks here on the 4 hour. Maybe like there's some orders down here like the 118, 120 to 116 zone. But anyway, this thing's anyway, that's kind of my thought.
Fair enough. So there's a question. Roko Bez, let's say whatever. We're gonna do both stocks and crypto today, and not just one or the other. If you guys have any questions too, we can do like a lightning round at the end. And I see this question here from DK. Some accounts are saying that market makers are going after leverage liquidations. Why wouldn't they just hold? Well, the key there is leverage, right? If they're leveraged and they go below a certain price, they automatically get liquidated, and they don't have a choice. So they can't hold, right? And that's what that means when market makers are going after that. They know that they can't defend. I mean, they could defend it by adding more capital, but usually most people, they're over leveraged anyways, and they just get wiped out.
Yeah, there's a lot of like a lot of people do crazy things like A-Trade's crypto. He's crazy, but he does a really good job. He like does like these like 100x leverage plays, and you have to time these things really well and really precise, and you might lose sleep over it. But like the market makers on the short term, they're going to see free money down there. Are you going to grab it if somebody put like a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 or a couple $1 million underneath on the floor? Are you going to go down and pick it up? Yeah, you are. And you're going to pick it up, and you're going to stand back up, and you're going to keep going. And the whole thing is like all these like liquidation stuff. It's fun. I used to pay attention to a lot of that kind of stuff back in the days, like all these like open interest and all that stuff. But like ultimately, if you look at a higher time frame, the market maker is going to play their games, but ultimately they cannot stop their liquidity. Like they cannot stop the global liquidity from acting the way that they should on Bitcoin and risk assets. Like they just cannot over the long term. They can play these short term games, but they cannot play long term. So.
Yeah, because it's still in a range, so it's easy for them to trigger those leverage longs and get them liquidated. And they're creating liquidity because they're making money on the way down, and then they use that money to launch it back up. So it's basically a win-win for those market makers. All right. Did I lose you, Kat? Are you still there? Hello, Kat? Kat?
Oh, hey, sorry, I'm here.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought my mic was on. Sorry. So somebody was asking about SMCI. I'm just going to put up here a little bit. I'm going to do a fib level chart here. I'm not going to do that precise of a fib level, but the whole thing about SMCI, if you ask me, is this still a bullish chart? Yes. Higher highs and higher lows. Is the trend getting a little bit exhausted? I think so, because the low Bollinger Band is starting to contract it a little bit. Unless if you have another big giant move up, like I think it's going to be hard for it to do, because it already had a big giant move up. The majority of the energy is already expanded, but it probably would continue to make like higher highs, but I just don't know how far, and I wouldn't necessarily another crazy move like from another like 10 or 20x anymore. It could, I'd be wrong, but like so far it just looks like there's a little bit of trend exhaustion based on the low Bollinger Band here. In terms of where I think it might end up, finding support, I think the current zone would be good. I think like around 550 or so, there is the 21618 on the log fit level. It could be potentially a support right around here. I mean, the month is still young, right? Man, just wick underneath of that, you might end up closing about 550, and there's not really anything like too bearish about this chart. It'd just be a higher low. Could it go down lower? Sure, it can. There's a rising 20-month moving average right down below on the higher time frame. You have like around 432 or so that could also potentially be serving as support. Otherwise, like I'm having a hard time finding any other support. Like you get a monthly. This is also one thing I worry about SMCI, because you're the trend. Like over here, the entire thing is kind of going up on the katana, but right now you're kind of losing a little bit of super trend over here. So it does get me a little bit concerned. If you're also looking at the Ichimoku is also kind of below these Tenkan and Kishin line, and there's a lot of risk underneath, right? So do I think it's going to go all the way down? No, I don't. I think the lowest probably goes is maybe around like the lower it goes probably around the either like 432, which is going to be like the 20-month moving highs in here, or it can backtest this level over here, which should be pretty brutal around like the 330. But do I think it's going to end up doing that? Probably not. I think it's probably going to end up finding support right around where it's at. Close to month, and then maybe NVIDIA does really bad, then SMCI end up suffering, then you might go down to the lower level. That's entirely possible. But that might also be just a wick down, and then you might end up closing the month back above, right? So it's hard for me to say for sure. But you just have to understand that currently it's the short-term time trend. So it could go a little bit lower, but it's certainly, I think the majority of down move has been done. So it's just, I don't know how much a little bit lower it could be. It could be a lot lower for you guys if you're talking about going from like 550 going to like 330. That's, some people cannot stomach that, or going down to like 432. Some people cannot stomach that, but that's a possibility, right? But if you go to buy, you're going to buy here, not financial advice. So you want to take over?
I have a chart I want to show for SMCI while I'm at it. So here's my GAN on linear scale just for SMCI, and I have been talking about this for a while, and what I really am noticing is this blue angle. It really is battling it, and it's like really trying to hold it as a support. And the week's not over yet, right? There's still 3 trading days left in the week, and what I see so far is just a breakout back above and maybe a retest, right, with a wick through. And that's a potential that I really think is possible, especially if NVIDIA has like good earnings and stuff. Then this will be able to hold that support and then build a base to continue back up to the 770 level up there. But if there's more weekly candles that close below it, and then it confirms it as a resistance, then guess what? This next important angle is the orange angle, which was resistance here, broke through, and it never has been back tested, right? So that could be a possibility to backtest that and even backtest the ARK below into the 370s down to the 340s, right? So that could be a little really painful. But would that be a bearish chart? Still, no, it wouldn't, because it's just a breakout and backtesting a level that has never been backtested before. So there's a lot of wiggle room with this one. If you guys can stomach volatility, then be prepared for every kind of scenario. But so far, this blue angle, 550 is my level, maybe like 555 or so. I kind of want to see weekly candles continue to close above it. And if it does, then I think that's your base, and then continue higher. And again, I'll do that trend-based fib that is glorious. And you can see right here that it's also been pretty perfect in regards to levels, right? That 236 was really important. Once it broke below, it went down to that final level. So I think there's a really solid chance that that 482, like you were saying, is the low. Just how this trend-based fib is looking, right? And how it got rejected by the 618, and each level was important, right? If you adjusted it like a little bit differently, then it wouldn't really line up as much, but it lines up like perfectly with that low right there, you know? So that kind of means to me that it's either going to hold this or it's going to go way lower. You know? How's that for TA, guys? No.
No, but the thing is, we're saying the same thing again.
Yeah.
Right? Why are we saying the same thing? Like, you didn't even. I promise we didn't even know they're going to ask for SMCI. I didn't talk to Matt beforehand. We like show different charts, and we're seeing the same thing. So, yeah,
yeah. No, we asked her to ask that question. It was scripted.
It's all staged. We actually asked the market maker where the price is going to be, and that no.
Yeah.
we don't have any insider information, so yeah, we just
no. But the level for Friday, guys, above 550, maybe 555, right? If it does that, a weekly counter close above that, then I think you're in the clear, and I think it's just a successful breakout backtest for a continuation back to eventually the 770s over time, not immediately, but just got to watch that range. Otherwise, it could go lower, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would say like the risk reward ratio favors reward right now, because you're at support, and the reward would be up in the 700.
Yeah,
that would be like that if you're going to play odds. If you're gambling, not financial advice. Another thing I want to say about SMCI, didn't they come up with like a short report? Is that why price like dropped? I thought I saw like there's like a Hindenburg report or something like that. Like they usually come with these things whenever they want to.
Oh, like an accounting, some kind of accounting, like something fraud, like or
yeah. Like, I never like whenever I see that, like I don't even read the report, because it's usually crap. They usually come up with this whenever it's like at the end of the downtrend, or towards the end of the downtrend. I mean, you could go down lower, sure, but they end up usually just do these short reports so they can close their shorts. Like they basically just close their shorts, like, oh, we've been shorting, just so you know. And then, like at that time, usually like, they just wanted to get out. That's how I feel the short reports usually are like. And it's kind of funny that today's price action, like pre-market or something like that, went down a lot, right? And then intraday is just kind of.
Well, yeah, I was talking about it on my morning show today. Yeah. When it was pre-market, I was tanking. I was starting to laugh at that report. I'm like, it just pushed it down to the previous. It like literally just pushed it down to this candle right there to the lows. Yeah. Really, pre-market. I was like, come on now. Like that's really going to be a supply zone. Like that is a buy them open by the market. I didn't say that, but I was just thinking that like you want to buy them the open of that, because that's going to just continue higher. There's no point to dump like that.
I'm skeptical of all short reports, because they're usually written by scumbags.
They are. They have an ulterior motive, and they want to just manipulate stuff. And I guess it's legal manipulation. Who the hell knows?
They wanted to close their short. That's what they wanted to do. Anyway, I'm done talking about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Conveniently released 1 day in advance of NVIDIA. Yeah, exactly. One day before.
Exactly. So Brendan asked about fetch, I guess.
Oh yeah, FET. We'll go to my log scale chart. Where did fetch go? Yeah, I actually bought more at 129 exactly. Like at this price, 1291. Yeah, I did buy more because I like it. Well, that's why. Don't question me. No.
Yeah, you and A, apparently, like you guys are just like buying this kind of stuff.
Well, I did my top 5 cryptos, and I just love this chart. And especially look at that last weekly chart. It just bullish engulfing up. And through all these liquidations, it just backtested the 50-week average. And like, come on, like that's all you got. I don't know if it's going to have more, because look at all the support below it. There's my arc below it again. It's a breakout of the arc. There's the conversion line below. So will it really go lower than that? I mean, possibly it could go back to 97, I guess, but I think that would just be even a better opportunity if it did. But just looking at this chart one last time, and it's just gorgeous to me, right? It's just a series of higher highs, higher lows, and it looks like that blue level was ultimately a support. It just like went through it to catch all that liquidity, like a liquidity grab, and then blast through. So I think like we're not going to really get lower than 97 anymore, really. If it does, it's a blessing. But essentially, I think it's doing the Tesla thing, riding the arc down maybe as a support to just eventually launch higher to the next level, which is going to be $11 up there. So that's going to be my medium-term target for Fetch.
Pull up the bull market support band while you're at it.
Ooh. Oh, resistance right there. It's getting rejected.
So it's probably going to ride down the arc, just like you said, for maybe like a couple of weeks or longer. I can see that. While it turned the band more flat before it can break through. Yeah,
so probably a few more weeks of just nothingness, but just building a base. I like to see bases built and then an explosion higher. So one level at a time, and I think this is looking more and more beautiful for the future.
Yeah, and also like the higher time frame is still looks like higher lows, higher high. There's nothing bearish about this chart on a higher time frame.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it's a good one, I suppose.
You suppose,
it's a good
but
one.
You don't want to buy it because
I don't know. I'm tempted. I'm tempted, and it looks like I still have another couple of weeks to decide, right? So
yeah, you do. It's like no rush, but yeah, I've been buying all over the place with this one because I love it.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like another maybe a couple of weeks or longer, but yeah, I still feel like I have time to buy. So yeah.
Well, Matt Johnson has a question about any biotech tickers we like, stocks.
Do you have any?
I don't think so.
So the big one, I think which one was it? The CRISPR. Let me see. Yeah, the CRISPR.
Oh yeah, CRISPR's all right.
CRISPR's all right. Like I like CRISPR. I haven't. So I actually do have a little bit of a ARKG position.
Ooh,
fancy. No, I'm like I've had that for years, which means I'm like down in the water. That's like before I start even like doing TA and all that stuff. So I've been really kind of accumulating at this accumulating zones. I guess you can look at this, and you can also look at ARKG. I mean, just overall look at it.
Well, yeah, I have ARKG. I prefer ARKG because it's an accumulation of everything. But look at this CRISPR. Oh God, it's right at support. So gorgeous. Look at that.
Yeah, it's not a bad chart.
No, it's not a bad chart at all. And worst case, max pain is at 45, it looks like, which could be maybe down at $43, $44. But it's starting to even get on top of that arc there. So I think it could just write it down a little bit. But yeah, I don't need any other indicators. I like CRISPR a lot.
Yeah. And another one that I think like Tommy likes a lot for Chart Squad, he likes RXRX.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people talk about RXRX.
Yeah.
Recursion. Yeah, that's flipping at support level 2. Like bullish engulfing that 45. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Like this is just basically foreshadowing what ARKG wants to do. I think ARKG is going to have an awesome recovery in the future. So
yeah, it might take a little bit longer. I think it'll take some time.
Yeah, it's still kind of bearish, the chart, but eventually it'll get there.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to pull up ARKG, if you have a chart too.
Well, I'm gonna pull up his DK recommended this one, AQST, or not recommended. He mentioned it. Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with this chart at all, and it's even back on top of the baseline there at 424. So I think it found its support in this area. Like, could it come back down to the cloud? Sure, but it looks pretty good.
Yeah, I think both Matt, you and I we like to look at the higher time frame anyway, and like for the higher time frame, these things are starting to look a little bit better and better over time. You do need patience though, because I think there's still not Anyway, I can show some stuff here.
Ooh, look at the monthly cloud. Or look at the monthly chart here. That's actually really good. If it can close the month in that cloud above all that, that's like the first time ever, really.
Yeah, leading span A. I mean, it's like it's in there. It's in the premature cloud.
Yeah, premature.
Kind of like how Danny likes. No, I'm just sorry.
That's funny.
Sorry, Danny. He's not watching anyway, so.
No. Yeah, but the cloud looks really good there. So monthly chart looks even better than the weekly. So I think like that $4 to maybe like 430 zone could be some solid support. Who knows?
Yeah. This is one of the better looking. Yeah, this is one of the better looking biotech charts. There's also I guess like ARKG and the XBI. I get asked on XBI a lot too. So you want to put those couple of charts?
Yeah. So ARKG is still riding support. It's been riding support since October 2023. Boom, 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 all the way up on the monthly basis. But yeah, you can't really get super excited about it. Like I was excited about it when it was in the 22s, like down here, because I was like, yeah, this is going to hold. And now it's like getting to resistance. It's going to take a while to break that. And on the weekly chart, even more so, you can see it's just battling that baseline there. I'm not sure if it's ready to break this week or not. But if it does, that'll be kind of bullish for the future, because the last time it was above really was like in March. So it's been a while, right? So could have some positive developments there for ARKG.
Yeah. Do you want to pull up XBI as well?
XBI.
Yeah, biotech sector. And then I'll pull up my ARKG chart after you.
Okay, yeah, XBI. Let's look at the monthly here. Yeah, it's getting close to resistance up there on the monthly.
Yeah. I argue it's at resistance at like 100 is having a hard time really trying
with these previous monthly candles right here. It's having a very challenging time to break above it. Even that previous month candle.
Yeah.
It's having a challenging time.
If you zoom out even more, like 100 is like a big level. Like if you zoom out for years ago.
Yeah.
Big level. So
yeah, look at that right here.
Yeah. Right. I mean, like it's like support, like resistance, support, resistance. Yeah. So
it's been mostly resistance with like a V top.
Yeah. A V top.
Yes.
Anyway.
All right. I'll let you pull up your chart now.
If you just flip me like you flip cats, you're gonna see that couple things here. One thing is you see price has really been plummeting down. It's really been forming like a base forming behavior for like 2 years now, right? The entire thing was still a little bit of a downtrend overall. You still have mostly, lower highs and lower lows. But as price went down further, if you look at the RSI actually has been trending up. So you really have almost close to like a 2-year bullish divergence on a monthly chart that's being built up here, right? So you touch the local in Japan not just once, twice, but 3 times. Once, twice, and 3 times, right? So I think that it has found its bottom. I don't think it's going to go that much lower than like 22. The only issue that I'm having with this chart still, and I can still see that it needs to battle something. Initially, I was getting a little bit excited that it was kind of challenging a flattening 20-month moving average, but it just didn't end up holding it and just went up making another higher low down here. And right now, the 20-month moving average is now flattening again. So if something great happens to like IWM, if something great happens to like, increasing liquidity coming in, then, I would like to see a challenge of 20. And once it challenges 20, once it truly breaks back above and back tests that, and then it can go higher. But right now, it's just building a lot of energy for a very, very long time. But it's still hitting resistance above that it needs to battle. So I still feel like if you're interested in like biotech or ARKG stocks, most likely you still have a little bit more time, maybe like another couple of months for you to kind of battle the 20 as it turns flat as resistance, flip that into support. I think it's still probably going to take a little bit of time. But yeah, I'm not like bearish on this chart because, I mean, there's the time to bearish really gets us up here. So
yeah. It's definitely in the bottoming process and only good things to come. And
I think
major pullbacks could be great opportunities.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's all I really got for RG. I mean, I don't have anything fancy.
Well, how about we move to Tesla with you first, Kat?
What?
Yeah, I gotta see your Tesla.
What?
Everybody was talking trash about it today. Oh, good, stupid stock. All it does is go down.
I can't. Yeah, so I made a video on Tesla yesterday. I made it together with like Palantir, a bunch of other stocks like Shopify, SoFi, things like that. The key thing is I cannot be bearish on a higher time frame on Tesla anymore. And I keep talking about this for like a whole few weeks already. The whole thing is if you're wondering why I care about the 20-week moving, sorry, not 20-week, 20-month moving average, it's just because it's just played out over and over again. Like I like the 20-month moving average because it gives me a higher time frame in terms of what the trend is looking like. Like as the bear market gets started, you can really see that the 20-month moving average is really rolling over, right? And this is basically just telling you that this whole uptrend here is exhausted. The first sign that this whole uptrend here is getting exhausted is when the lower bullish band, which during this great expansion, great bull market over here, the lower bullish band went all the way down to the negatives, right? The first sign of exhaustion, I think, is around January 2021, when it starts to not be expanding, but starts to contract, right? So January 2021, where was price at? Let's see. January 2021 was right here. So if you would have sold there around like 265, I guess you might have missed the 400 move, but you would have avoided all the way down to 100. So and you would have still made like a pretty significant gain. But after that trend got exhausted, the Bollinger Band starts to contract, right? Like the low Bollinger Band all the way from the floor back up, right? And really, like whenever it starts to contract, that's when you really are saying, hey, maybe this really is a big trend change together with the 20-month moving average really trying to curl over and really rolling over, and it's starting to test the 20-month moving average when it hasn't really done that, except for when the COVID, wick kind of got close to it. It hasn't really touched the 20 until it starts to roll over, until it starts testing it once, twice, found support, and then eventually it just start rolling over so much that it's no longer good support, broke underneath of it. And what happens when you broke underneath of it? You back test it, right? Looks like initially you have a little bit of a back test, trying to use that as support again because it's flattening, it wasn't good support at all, fell underneath of it, trying to back test it again, now it's resistance, got rejected, and boom, right? That's what happened. This whole 20-month moving average tells you the entire story about what happened during the bear market. And I can keep telling the story too, because I have stories to tell because Matt has all night. But I'm going to basically just see that this big giant peak underneath, like way underneath the low Bollinger Band on the monthly, right? Whenever price gets way underneath the low Bollinger Band, even if you're a trader, generally you're expected to probably retrace back to the mean. And sure enough, like whenever people were calling for like 60 or whatever, it bounced and it made a really huge move back up to like 300, right? It broke back above the 20, but guess what? The 20 was still downward sloping. It wasn't ready yet to be support, right?
Hey, go to that monthly candle for September of 2022.
September 2022. That one right there.
You see that wick above, like it's trying to suck people in to be bullish again. Yeah. It's like doing the opposite right now on this month. Yeah,
exactly. So you see that this is the exact same thing, right? Because right here, it was like it couldn't serve as support because it was just downtrending, and it tried to flip back into support, but it just couldn't because it was downtrending, right? Something significant has happened over here, just like something significant has happened over here around like August 2022. The 20-month moving average has started to change trend, right? It's changed trend right here. It turned from negative to positive now. And this candle over here last month in July really has cemented in, precipitate like a longer term bull trend that has starting to try to transpire. So I really do think that by the end of the month, it's probably going to end up closing about 212. It may not. If it doesn't, it doesn't matter. I like the trend, right? Like it doesn't matter to me. Like over here, you kind of close, like here above the 20. It doesn't matter, The what matters more is the trend, and what also matters more is that price has just gone sideways for so long that the Bollinger Band is also starting to contract. And whenever you have Bollinger Band contracting, it tends to tell you that, hey, maybe we consolidate sideways here for maybe another few months. and the big move's going to come, right? Well, where's the big move going to come? Well, let's look at the what do you call this? The basis line over here, right? The 20-month moving average. Is it pointing up or is it pointing down? It's pointing up. So that tells me that something big could be happening with Tesla. And for those people who are upset about Tesla, either you are a trader and you don't like, and you get burned from like the bullish moves that end up burning you, or you're a long-term investor that doesn't have long-term view. That's kind of my view on that. Ichimoku right now is still got support down here at the Tenkan and Kijun on the monthly, after flipping it from resistance over here to support with this just big giant candle over here, right? It got rejected on top of cloud as expected. And it's just basically coming back down, back testing the support down here. So far, it's still finding support in the Tenkan and Kijun. If it closes inside the cloud at the end of the month, you would be super bullish to me, around 213.15. If it doesn't, that's okay. You got, someone, if they were close about the support over here by the end of the month with this big giant wick over here, I think the overall thing is pretty bullish. I'm not going to go like the shorter time frame. I just want to talk about the big picture for Tesla because I can go dive deeper, but I just made a video about it, yesterday. So if you want, Matt, take over.
Oh yes.
I just spent like 10-12 minutes calling people stupid, so sorry.
Don't be an idiot. Oh, and Heidi hiding out is here. Hello, Heidi. Welcome.
Yeah, hey, Heidi, Tracker's not here. You're safe.
Yeah, but I do love the new name Hiding Bacon, so that one might stick. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if bacon can be Heidi, but anyway.
But somebody's hiding the bacon. That's the important part.
Where's your chart, man? Sorry. I got distracted here. People are not here to hear us harassing Heidi. I mean, she's a completely kind and great human being who's also intelligent.
Yes, she had some amazing trades with ASPN and others. Yeah, so fantastic.
Yeah, really great trader actually. I mean, I'm trying to get her to get a new mic so she can join us to do like TA stuff.
Yeah, do it. All right, so here's my chart. The Tesla, yes, inside joke, yes, haha. But it's not really inside because it's on X. It's everywhere. So, anyways,
it depends on if you have holes. But
yeah. So here's my Tesla chart with no indicators at all. And I'm going to do that trend level again, the trend-based fib. And I'm going to just see another confluence of that 213 zone right there, right? 213, the 382. And when you zoom in here, it just looks so great. Like it even went up to the 786, and every level broke. It even went back up to the 618 and then retested the 236 there. And now it's battling this. And I still think it's going to close the month above it. And above the week too. I think it's going to do that because the trend is your friend, right? It wants to regain levels after breaking out, right? And that's what it's been doing on the way down, and it's going to do the same thing on the way up, I think, right? So, but that also coincides with that monthly Ichimoku, that 213, right? That you were just talking about right there. See? That's more confluence that I think price by Friday wants to close above that. Like no matter what, even if like NVIDIA tanks things tomorrow, I think the end of the week would just be a reversal and continue back up. I really believe that's a strong possibility just because there's a lot of things indicating that there is support below. And yeah, you already mentioned the monthly baseline and conversion line right there at 208 and 204.90. And other things too is on the weekly chart, when you put on the moving averages there, there's more support of the 50 and the 100 right below it. So does price really want to go that low? Maybe it'll go to that 204.90 possibly, right? But there's a strong support. So all I see really is like a breakout back test right now. And I think there's a strong possibility to closing this month, closing this week back above 213. That's why I've been saying 213 for a long time, because there's so many confluences that I think need to be taken notice to, so everybody can see that there's really nothing to worry about ultimately, because things look bright.
While you're at it, if you can also put up the Super E cloud together with the moving averages that you have, just to lay it on top.
The Super Ichi, you said?
Yeah, Super Ichi. Yeah.
Super.
I just want to show you some confluence.
Do I have? I don't. Let me. I have it on
You
this.
don't have Super Itchy.
I have it on like so many different charts.
No, that's
No,
okay.
I have it. I have it right here. Yeah.
Yeah. If you have Super Ichi on the weekly, I'm just trying to show you the baselines right at 206.65, and the top of the Super Ichi cloud on the weekly is 214.8. So
Yeah, there we go.
yeah, there's a lot of confluence, I guess is what I'm trying to say, like based on what you're saying.
Yeah, between what you were showing, what I'm showing, everything, it just looks like whatever the scare is, whatever the worry is out there, it just doesn't seem like it's warranted because price has already recovered all the damage that it incurred the past couple of weeks, right? And it even went down to test my ARK again, which I love.
Yeah.
So, but what this kind of looks to me like, it's just building a base to eventually move to the next level eventually.
Yeah, it looks like it's just kind of stuck in a range a little bit between the conversion days, but yeah. Agreed. Stop agreeing with me. Stop it. Stop.
I can't. Oh, look at the bull market support pen. Did you pull that up too? Yeah.
I did. So I mentioned this on a video yesterday.
Yeah.
It basically flipped our support band from resistance to support, and it looks very, very beautiful.
Yeah, 205.40. So I mean, the possibility to go back to 205 is there, but I don't think people should be like screaming fear on X because it's just a normal thing. So
yeah, it's going to 60 though. I mean, whatever. It's yeah. I see that you have an arc all the way down to 60. Like it's going to go there.
Yeah, there it is. Oh, wait, but where does that arc eventually go? If we follow the arc all the way down, it goes to 0.
Oh boy,
it's important to know that.
Yeah. Oh boy, it's not Rivian, so we should be fine.
That's true. That's true.
I think somebody asked about hymns, margin call. One of our buddies asked about hymns and hood.
Yeah. So we'll go to HEMS. HEMS is below that bull market support band, but I love everything about this chart except for what's happening right now. Like I wanted it to hold that angle, but it's broken it before, and it's still maintained it as a support. But I think what's really important is getting back above it by the time the weekly candle closed on Friday. So I think this is fine if it turns into a wick, but if it continues to close below, it could turn into resistance and then possibly drift lower. So really going to watch that level right there, maybe around 1540, 1550, that zone, just see if a weekly candle can close above it. And everything else on that Ichimoku is kind of signaling that maybe it wants to go lower too on the weekly, right? If you have the SMAs there, they're even lower too. So there's a lot of things showing that it kind of wants to go lower on shorter term.
Yeah, so you're saying that it might need some Viagra. Anyway, I can share mine. If you want to talk, yeah, I can share mine.
The HEMS need some hers. That's what they need.
Oh man, Tracker's not here. We're just going freestyle. I mean, I'm bullish on this chart. I've been bullish on this chart for quite some time. I don't have a position because I didn't. Yeah, they actually a really good business model. Like if you want to talk about the fundamentals, I think actually the fundamentals actually look pretty decent. And I got a little bit of a cringe when they're trying to like copy Ozempic by coming with like this combination weight loss pill that has like 5 things in there that didn't really make any sense to me. So I was a little bit hesitant, but hey, if you're into money, like it would have been a good stock to buy in the single digits. Right now, this is basically, after it broke through this trend line, I mean, like it just keeps going up, and the 20-month average just keeps going up. This doesn't really apply anymore. What I'm here to really show you is if you would have end up chasing an asset when it's closing way outside the upper Bollinger Band on the monthly chart, you're going to get punished for it. Especially if you have big giant wick above, you're going to get punished for it on the short term. And that's exactly what's happening. You got punished here by this big giant candle over here. Now, does it mean it's going to go all the way down to like 11, things like that? I'm not sure, because if you look at the monthly Ichimoku, you're kind of right at support right here at the rising kitchen or baseline. I think it's at 14.88, and right now probably it's 14.84. There's a little bit of concern. I just don't like the fact that there's like no wick underneath right here so far. I would really like to see the month close above that and leave a little bit of a wick down here, because when I see like the full body kind of like touching a support to close the month, it gets me a little bit worried that the next month's going to have some kind of bearish continuation. Not guaranteed, but it just gets me a little bit more, worried about it. But it's just like over here, it doesn't have to. Well, anyway, that's a wrong thing to look at. But it just gets me a little bit worried. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. But overall, it's still a bullish chart. I agree with you. I don't like the short term stuff, but long term it looks excellent. So that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I agree. So we could see some short term pressure, but over the long term, I think it's okay. And yeah, Robinhood, there's a weekly katana.
Yeah, kind of beautiful, isn't it? It prices above the katana. Katana, if those people who don't know what we meant, I always like to kind of point. You have the conversion line here, the baseline over here. Conversion is faster than the base, and when they merge, that's basically mean that you have a long period of consolidation for greater than 26 or 26 candles. We're probably just kind of gone sideways for 26 candles, but the last 9 candles has a huge amount of volatility. That's basically what it meant. So it basically just means that nothing's been happening and then something's happening. And if something's happening, that basically means that things are getting shaken out. The Bollinger Band is going to expand, and things are probably going to end up, being pretty impulsive one way or another. So if you have to ask me which way this is going to go, well, let's look at the overall trend, right? I mean, I guess it's a little bit of a lower low compared to here, but honestly, if you look at the monthly, it's just more or less it's just forming like a higher low, like higher high, higher low. And so if you ask me which way it's going to go, I'm going to favor it going up. And basically what the price has been happening too is just got rejected here at, I guess, at like the 0.5, which is not a real Fibonacci level, but it's still like halfway point, right? Kind of got rejected halfway point here. You have the bearish divergence that has already played out with that big giant dip right here. Right now, you really don't have like any bearish divergence to get worried about anymore. And price looks like it wants to it looks like it wants to go up higher, but we did have a big giant move up here, and I do think that things probably need to kind of cool down a little bit longer before we have like the real move. Let me see if I can pull out like the Bollinger Band. Yeah, it's looking okay. It doesn't look overextended, but the only thing I'm worried about is really more like the volume. I think that is probably going to come back down, back test the Tenkan and Kitchen baseline conversion, probably get back to like 20 or a little below, because I don't like this volume. Like it's just basically going up on like exhausting volume. So bears are just going to smell this and probably going to come over and try to drag it down, see how far I can drag it down. And I'm thinking maybe the Tenkan in the Kitchen bounce from there, go higher. I don't think it's going to go like all the way down to the bottom of the cloud. I don't think it's going to go to like the low Bollinger Band. The whole thing though, like on the bigger time frame, a larger time frame, how can you be bearish with this candle over here? Like I think the month's probably gonna end up closing around here. How can you be bearish with this big giant like dragonfly candle, like hammer candle over here, that just break all the way down below, tested tons of supply, decent volume, back tested the Fib level, back tested Tenkan and Kitchen, found support, bounced up, right? How can you be bearish? The only thing that I've been worried about Robinhood for months now, especially over the last couple of months, was that the baseline and the conversion line is just way too far and things are just way too overextended. I was hoping that it would just kind of go sideways for a little longer, wait for these things to kind of catch up, because otherwise you're going to correct for price. Looks like already corrected for price. So if anything, I think we're ready to run. But maybe it needs maybe a few more weeks to kind of back test, find some support levels down below, maybe even found some support level down here again at like 18. I'm not ruling it out, right? Just because of volume and just so far it's not there yet to push it higher. I guess that's my Robinhood chart. So go for it, Matt.
Yeah, I'll just show my chart real quick here.
You're not going to agree with me, are you?
Well, here we go. So here's my log scale again. There's the 45-degree angle where it's been super important. And it was riding it as a support. Then it just broke, and now it's working its way back up. So the way I see it is I think price has the opportunity to get maybe up to the $23 zone, right? And that could be some challenges right there. Could be some resistance just because after this V bottom, maybe it'll just get rejected there and kind of cool off, right? Or it could even cool off before then and then get there later on too. So I don't see too much more upside in the short term, really, just because of this angle up here is getting in my way. And I think the opportunity is also not the opportunity, but the confluence is also the top of the cloud sits there around 23 as well, right? So that is more, don't pay attention to this 45 there. It's not really scaled for the daily chart. It's only scaled for the weekly, so it's just in the way. But the 23 zone is the top of the cloud up there, or like 2270. So that's even more confidence that I don't think it's going to break out yet. And then you see next week the cloud starts going down, and I think that could be what might happen. It might continue up and then over there start going down and then find its true support down there in the 19s again, right? I could see that totally happening, and then it could be ready to go up, right? I don't think it's going to just explode past my 45 degree there just yet.
Yeah, I think it's either maybe 23 or 24. Or maybe now, I don't know, the volume, I'm a little bit worried. It's just not enough to kind of push it for up, that higher. But yeah, if it gets higher, 23, 24, and then correction, how far? Don't know, maybe 20, maybe 18. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, let's see. Should we do the usual Palantir?
Sure.
The usual suspects?
Sure.
It was basically flat today. And I think what's happening is maybe trying to suck in more bullish people to buy just so they can maybe dump it back to support later on. That's what it kind of feels like to me, because all I see above is just more resistance. Like the higher it goes, it's just running into like a wall up here in like the 32, 33. So I don't think it's really ready to just keep going higher yet. I think what's possible is retesting these previous highs up here, this candle and this candle, and then probably form a higher low or lower high and then continue down to the 30, maybe 29, 28, or even the 27 down here, right? That's what I see for Palantir, which also goes back to this previous high before it broke out.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to add because I did make a video about it yesterday as well. So if you guys want to check out my thoughts, you can watch the video from yesterday. But I do think that things are looking a little bit toppy, and I think that there's a little bit of exhaustion in terms of a short-term bull trend. How far is it going to go down? It's going down to 30, 28, 20, 27, 25. That doesn't really matter to me long term because long term it still looks like a very bullish chart. The question is more, I'm going to hold it because it could very well. There's always a possibility it just bounce from 30 and it just goes up higher. You never know, right?
Yeah, because that 30 level is the 618 level for Palantir, right?
Yeah.
That 618 is the linear scale fib 30. Yeah. So it could just hit there and go on. Also, it is holding support on my linear scale angle too, so that's interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that as well.
Yeah. And so far there's just not really any volume at all, so it's hard to tell you where it's going to go in short term. It's really anybody's guess. It could go as high as 30, and that would be it. It could go as low as maybe 25. I think anywhere underneath, if it dips down below 30, anything closer to 25, the risk reward is going to be significantly increased the lower it goes. So I'm just holding. I don't care because it's a longer term position for me. But if it goes back down to the mid 20s, I'm I'm buying more.
Oh yeah, for sure. Same. Yeah. And there's a request for AFRM by Heidi.
AFRM. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. Right above the 50-week moving average. Look at that. It's pretty cool. So let's just look at the symmetry of it all first here on my linear scale chart. Yeah, in essence, it did hold that blue angle perfectly because it closed that week right on it, right? So there was a very perfect support there with that blue angle. And very obvious resistance coming up in the future with that 45-degree angle there. And we can pull up the Ichimoku and see that it's actually getting back into the cloud, and it's above that 50-week moving average, and it's holding the baseline as support. I think it's ready to probably go higher, you know?
Yeah.
Like, support to me looks like it could be 30, maybe a little bit below, but I think it's ready to go maybe to the top of the cloud, 37, 38.
Yeah, possible. And I think that would be a pretty good, beginning of a trend change. Yeah, I think it's entirely possible. Anything else on
the monthly chart?
Yeah, monthly chart looks great too. It broke back above the base.
Oh, and that's more confluence of 37 right up there, the conversion line. So
yeah. So short term, I think there's a chance it runs up there. I can show you another 37 level too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you want to flip me like a cat? Yeah,
there we go.
Thank you for flipping. Yeah. Just very, very much like monthly. A couple of things that I want to show. First thing is like around like 26, 28, somewhere around there is like a volume shelf up there. So I can totally see that price could gravitate up back towards this volume shelf level, And I just wanted to say, like, I have a position in a firm. I've been bullish on a firm since like July of 2023. Ever since it flipped the conversion from like resistance to support. So yeah, I mean, I've been riding it up and I've been riding it down. The reason why I like do that is because I'm lazy, and I also think like the greater like macroeconomics was not as scary as people say it is, because the volume has just been like plummeting. So like I stopped buying in the 20s, and then I've just been holding, and then next thing you know, like I started buying here around like the low 30s and and upper 20s again, and I'm still DCAing right now as we speak. So because I see that the lower this goes down on declining volume, the greater the reward is compared to risk, right? I mean, I almost don't care whether or not it like breaks underneath these like conversion baseline here on the monthly. It did end up back testing some of the volume shelf underneath below during that scary time, but overall it just looks like a beautiful higher high and higher low, no matter how brutal this downtrend has been over the last like 7 or 8 months. And so far, I think we're looking, much more bullish overall. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole heck of a lot more to say on the weekly. I already showed everything that I wanted to show. On the 2-week, also see potentially a little bit of resistance here on the Ichi with the baseline, not a baseline, with the conversion line here as resistance currently. So maybe that's why we have a little bit of, like a 2-week candle that kind of looks like that. But yeah, if it breaks back about where it's going to go, 37, that's that's more confluence. I don't have a whole heck of a lot more to add. And it's just on the weekly chart, you can clearly see like the declining volume as everybody's scared about recession. Like it's just like nobody's really like selling. I think there's just been a buyer strike by the people that have been accumulating and probably still accumulating, because there's not really like this downtrend is really non-committal. So I'm not really that scared over the last 6 or 7 months. Like whenever it gets lower, I'm like, okay, you want to give me for cheaper, I'll buy more. But it doesn't matter to me. But anyway.
Yeah, but the chart's starting to look more and more fantastic as the weeks and months go by.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh man, we're starting to get a lot more requests.
Somebody asked up top after AFRM about how does Bitcoin look now. I mean, it's fine.
There's no change. I mean, we look at higher time frame anyway. Now it's already going back down to like 59, 300. Like it's going to fluctuate. It's not. You just have a big down move. You really want to look at like the daily. If you're really interested in looking at daily, I mean, like I think it's going to have to sort itself out. But I think it's still a higher low, overall compared to here. Like, don't worry about it. I guess even on a shorter time frame, on a higher time frame, it still looks fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to do some lightning round stuff? I mean, I did talk about SOFI in my video yesterday. When I was, this is really creepy because
you can do SOFI and I'll jump into SOFI when you're done.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just going to turn off the Tsukuichi here. All I got to say about SOFI is I've been eyeing this, bear market trend line here for a very long time. And it looks like we've just been trying to break above, had a little bit of a false breakout here around December 2023. But ultimately end up resistance, wicked above here a couple of times. Resistance. So far, the candle is actually like above that trend line. So that does make you wonder, interesting, right? And also the entire story is just following this pitchfork very, very beautifully. It's just been testing the top of range over here. Nope, go to the bottom of the range, came back up here, test a little bit of the top range here. Nope, went back down. Next thing you know, the bears ride the stairs down, the bulls ride the elevator, and that's what happened over here. Decided at the bottom of the range, decided to go up, and it just made a monster move all the way up here. Got rejected, came back down and down. It's just been systematically following both the pitchfork over here as well as the bear market diagonal line over here. And so far, it looks like it's breaking. So where do I think price is going to go? Probably around $8, like around this diagonal line over here. And that's going to be pretty strong resistance. Like Matt's going to tell you all about $8. Resistance right here around $8, or even a little bit higher around 8.2.
Oh yes, I am.
On this Ichi, he's going to sell $8 on the Ichimoku Cloud on weekly, $8. He's going to tell you to sell at $8. on the Bollinger Band, you can potentially expand up here. I know exactly what you think. If the Bollinger Band, lots of Bollinger Band, like it might end up expanding up there. But if it gets up to $8, it might be a little bit overstretched. So that's going to be resistance over there. He's going to tell you all about $8, guys. But anyway, I'm going to look at the monthly here. On the monthly, like this candle, like there's a lot of wick underneath over here. Kind of like how there's a lot of wick underneath over here. Kind of like how there's a lot of wicks underneath over here. So to me, I think like there's a lot more demand than supply right now, and it looks like price whenever it breaks above $8, it's probably going to go a lot higher. I like the fact that it has finally reclaimed a rising 20-week moving average, which is currently at 7.69. Price is currently about that. It'd be nice to see it close with this big hammer candle above a rising 20, and that could potentially signify a little bit of a trend change. So that's all I have to say about SoFi, Matt. Talk about $8.
Well, just for that, I'm going to talk about less than $8.
Hey, man, you do you. You do you,
So what I really want to focus on here is if you look at this chart, you can see that orange angle is finally once again support, and I do like that. So 760 looks like a good support zone. And you already covered the Ichimoku, how it's on top of the baseline there, going towards the $8 up there, 809, 808. So I don't need to pull that up. But let me just draw a line across here for you guys. What am I doing? Yeah. And I think it's even less than, it's like 780 right there. Look at that. Yeah. 780 where like there was a resistance here, resistance, like a support, resistance. So even before that $8, there's a lot of resistance at 780 or 781, 82, whatever. Around the 780s, there's going to be a lot of resistance there before $8. So there, Kat, it's not just $8. Yeah.
Ooh, well, one more thing I forgot to show. Look at the volume, though. The volume over the last 3 weeks looks pretty nice on the weekly. I forgot to, like it just looks like there might be some juice behind this move still. So we'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. But the good news is the trend is your friend now, and support has been made. So I think any kind of pullbacks down to the lower levels here, like 760 or so, I think could be bought because it does look like it wants to continue, right? Yeah. And if we do look at some of these moving averages here, it's even more confluence that there you go, 750, just below 760. That looks like it probably wants to hold. And over time, it's going to start sloping upwards as well. And the 100's already sloping upwards, right? So this is a good sign for good things to come. And I think that 780, 785 zone, it'll just be temporary, and it'll eventually get to the $8. And then the 810, 808, and that'll be more resistance up there before it's able to get to the blue angle above. And that'll be the next major resistance level, I believe, coming up in the future, in the 9s.
Yeah, I like how the 100 week is like really just curling and turning positive.
Yeah, me too. I like it a lot.
So somebody just asked generically, can you do miners?
Can I do them?
Do the miners. That's a lot of mining to do.
I can do just 1 second each. Like, yes, no, yes.
I mean, I was planning to do miners on point later this week, but like it's just been correcting the big move it had. It's just been doing nothing. But anyway.
Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah, we can go over a couple of them, I guess. I think with CLSK, it's still stuck under a major resistance at 1360 up here. We all know that basically the Ichimoku, it's being rejected by the cloud too. That's why it can't even get up to the 1360s. So don't even need that. But essentially what I've been saying about CLSK is I think a backtest of that angle is probably warranted sometime in the future, maybe later on in the future or sooner in the future. So that could be a possibility if it cannot break through this resistance above, right? If it can flip it back to a support, then that'll be fine. But until 1360, 1370 is flipped to a support, again, I can't really be that bullish on it just because it's an obvious support and a broken support, now a resistance, right? It's pretty obvious to me that that's what it looks like. And therefore, I just need more time before it turns bullish again.
Yeah, that's fair. The one thing though, it does have that look of like a potential island reversal to me.
Yeah.
If the bears are not able to push price down further, then like I think that you know, and the bears are trying, like they're able to bring that move down all the way with VIX like going greater than 60, and they're going to bring price all the way down to like the single digits. But right now, it just looks like it's just hanging out in the island, and the bears are trying to push down. They just couldn't really like, you know, do that quite just yet. So that does make me wonder. I think the angle is going to get tested at some point. It's going to get tested like in a few months or a few years. I don't know. But it's going to get tested at some point.
Or maybe it'll get tested way up here in 2031 when it's $252.
Yeah, you just don't know, right? Because like right now, the market symmetry, if you don't look at the GAN, if you just look at like the mirror pattern, it's just really look like, and if you draw like a linear Fibonacci level from like January 2021 all the way to like the cycle bottom, if you just draw like a Fibonacci level, if you turn off your GAN, if you do like a linear version of it, I guess
Oh, this is log. Yeah, log scale is like hitting the 618.
Yeah, log scale is at resistance. If you do a log scale, it does look kind of scary, but if you do linear, it looks a little bit different too. Both of those are valid. I think you're having some resistance and support. You know, like they both look a little bit different. Like the 0.236, you can also see like back in August of 2021, September 2021, that was also like a pretty important level. So to me, like it's hard for me to say, right? There's a lot of market symmetry that does look like it might just want to kind of backtest Fibonacci levels to kind of, you know, because it hasn't really backtested the 0.236 there for a while after the big giant breakout. So.
And it's holding like a champ right now. So that actually makes me think that that could hold. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's still lots of resistance above. So it could just be chopping in a range until it's ready to break out. So,
yeah, I mean, it could be an island reversal. It could stay like this for another few weeks. And then it's just like, try it. Okay. The bulls like take a look at it. Okay. You guys are tired. We're going to take over. So
you like linear, it's bullish, log bearish.
I don't know what to say, man. Yeah. Both are valid. I think valid. It's stuck in a range, I guess is what we're trying to tell you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I still think that it just hasn't had a chance to come back and back test some of these lower levels, and that's what it's doing right now. So it's still a higher low, you know, the market structure is still intact. But and even if it tests your angle later on, it's still going to be intact. So so who knows?
Yeah, high time frame still super bullish. Low time frame just needs more time.
Yeah, that's it for that. You want to talk about another one, Mara?
Yeah, Mara is also under my resistance level angle there. It's pretty obvious, but it looks a little bit better on the Ichimoku. Actually, on the weekly, no, but the monthly, no. Yeah, the monthly almost. Like there's still a chance, an opportunity to close back above 1860 by the end of the month, right? There still is, but the way Bitcoin's behaving, no, it's not. Right?
Yeah, and another thing, if you do asked to do like the Super Ichi, I think it tells a little bit of a better story. If you have it, it's stuck in a range. It's been stuck in a range for like months. So like that's the story, and you can feel it's stuck in a range. So
So not too bullish, not too bearish. It's just whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, just consolidating. But the volume also has been downtrending during this consolidation. So yeah. Anyway.
And Riot, yeah, Riot is one of those that I drew that line on your spaces, and it's just a previous support flip to resistance right there. So I can't be excited about Riot at all. Yeah, it's essentially all I see is once it hits this angle, then I'll be like, yeah, it's time to buy it, right? But until that happens, I don't think it's time yet. So we'll see if it happens down here at $6 or maybe over here at current price. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But even before my blue arc, there's this previous resistance flip support. Or sorry, previous support flip resistance.
Yeah, the only thing that I find bullish about Riot is that over the last 12 months or so, it just looks like a descending wedge, which is technically, if you believe in Jake Wu, that's a bullish pattern, but the descending wedge can go down a lot lower. So
true.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like if you look at it that way, then yeah, if it's a wedge, the lower it goes, the better. But like it's just a very vicious downtrend. I don't know when it's gonna end, man. Like that's the thing. So
it's gonna end right here, right
it
there.
It could. If it does, that'd be great.
Well, if it ended right here, look to your left. It's like in this range here, so that's good.
Yeah. It might just be a slower cycle. The cycle, I don't know. It's just been very vicious. But,
yeah. All right, maybe we can just do one more because
somebody asked Mara and Irene. Aaron was being asked. So
Iron, okay.
Yeah. Like if you and I think that if you ask about Freedom by 40's elite wave targets on miners, I personally think that these like elite waves, they're based on Fibonacci retracements and extensions. I think that in general they would work out. It's just hard to time things with elite waves, So I have like mad respect for Freedom by 40, and I think his thinking is very smart. I mean, obviously nothing's ever deterministic, but I think it's possible. I think what he says is possible. He also has a lot of really high time frame charts too, so I like Freedom. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I don't really know too much about his targets anyway, so I can't really talk about that.
It's high.
So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean those price targets are possible. I can see him on here, right, based on these levels. But it's got to get above like the blue level first, and then that, right? So one step at a time. So with this chart, it looks better than a lot of them. It's holding its support perfectly. Like not only is it the Ichimoku cloud, but it's also holding the arc perfectly, like just a breakout and a back test, and that's all it's doing. And now it's just stuck smack dab in the middle of a range, waiting for direction, I guess. So it could go down, retest support, or it could go back up and test resistance. We'll find out.
Did you see my symmetrical triangle breakout and back test for this?
No, I didn't.
Here, share the chart. Share my chart here real quick. I'll show you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you see this?
Oh, nice.
It like back tests the apex almost perfectly, and the apex also happens to be right at the volume shelf over here, and it bounced. And where did it end up getting supported? It ended up breaking back and support about the linear to 0.236. So yeah,
nice.
It's a beautiful chart. That's what I have to show. You can share there.
No, it looks really fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on. I think the gist of the miners is it all depends on Bitcoin anyway. So since Bitcoin is not doing that great, what is Bitcoin at right now? 591. Yeah, so they'll probably be under pressure tomorrow anyways. So it will. I mean, let's just wait till the monthly candle close, and then that'll tell a lot more, right? So
yeah, we'll see. C3AI.
Yeah, we'll do C3AI.
Been happening in C3AI. So. The only anyway I can show it in a little bit, but go ahead.
Do I have again on linear for this one? I think I might. Yeah, I do.
I know Garcia loves C3AI. No, he doesn't.
It's competition.
He has a meme that's like some like somebody came to like meet some like their girlfriend's dad or whatever, and that's like, oh, you're in the AI business, and they're like, yeah, I work for C3 AI, and then it was like, get the beep out of my house.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so just using, let me just add a couple more angles on here.
Yeah, we need more angles.
Yeah, not nearly enough angles there. I'll add that one. So, yeah, I mean, it's still symmetrical according to this, and I think it's pretty near a support, really. Like that, the week's not over yet, so it still could close back above it. So we'll find out. But essentially, with the Ichimoku here, yeah, that's under everything. SMA's under everything. Can't really be too bullish. Let's check out the monthly. Yeah. Yeah, it can't really be too bullish on C3A, really. It's under a lot of pressure, but the hope that it has is right here, that angle at maybe 24.16. If it closes a week above it, then there's a possibility to regain some of that momentum. If not, I see a retest of the angle below it, maybe at 2080, 2090 or so.
Yeah, if you want to share my screen real quick, I have some hoping on for them as well.
That does sound good.
Yeah, on the 2-week chart, the volume kind of tells you, I think this is reaccumulation, just simply because the downtrend is on declining volume, uptrend is on increasing volume, down on low volume, uptrend on high volume. And it's just like a pattern over and over again, and now the volume is just getting less and less. So that tells you most likely somebody's accumulating behind the scene. But if you ask me when they are going to end up breaking out, I don't know. Sometimes institutions are not always right. They can accumulate, and next thing you know, things just keep going down. But it looks like there is some, pretty strong reaccumulation that's been happening for about a year and a half. So it's going sideways. There's no trend as far as I'm concerned, but it's just something to kind of pay attention to. Another thing too, you see like the 20-month moving average is also curling up. The price is currently underneath of it. So I really like to see price like really break back above, but so far there's no indication it's going to do that quite just yet. So, but yeah, look at the volume. I like the volume. It's just been going sideways on declining volume, and yeah, that's what I have. Go ahead.
Well, how about the next requests are Pin Duo Duo? You can
Pin Duo Duo. Not Ping Duo. Not Ping Duo. Yeah, it cringes me. Like, I think a few years ago I was watching Stock Mo, and he was like Ping Duo Duo. I'm like,
it's not how you say it. Duo Duo.
Yeah, it's doing what you would expect it to do. Like, I didn't expect it would be like that big giant vicious down candle for like with like big volume. It was down like 20-some%. That I did not really expect. But overall, it's still got some pretty decent market symmetry. It still looks like it's a bullish chart, as crazy as it sounds on a higher time frame. The reason why is it's basically just back testing this like level over here with a big giant volume shove over here. That's what it's doing. There are some concerns on this chart, but it would be more like the shorter term. On a higher time frame, it did look like the Tenkan or the conversion line is kind of rolling over. It did look like maybe you have some correction down here, but I just didn't really expect it to go all the way down here, right? I was thinking maybe at least I find some support, maybe like at the volume shove up here around like 110, maybe at the baseline over here around like 100. Nope, it just decided all the way down to like the 90s. Still inside the monthly cloud though, right? The premature cloud that Danny likes so much, right? So sorry there, but it's still inside the cloud though, right? So even if it goes down further to like 80s, which there is a possibility, I'm not gonna lie, because so far there's no wick for this monthly candle. There is a possibility for it to go down further to like 89, 88, and I would not rule that out. The stomach, right? I don't see any support here, and it's already broken down underneath a flattening 20. So one warning sign is like I don't like the 20-month to be like a little bit flattened. That's a little bit concerning to me. So I'm a little bit equivocal because I think longer term it still looks like a bullish chart, but I just don't know how long it takes for the chart to repair. That's my thought on that. So
所以你的意思就是非常正常。
哪一个非常正常？你不正常。
It's very normal. Yes.
你才不正常。Well, is this a DAPP? Like is
Yeah,
this like
DAPP. Yeah.
like a little DAPP kind of thing, or like what is this? Digital transformation ETF. Okay. Bullish, yeah, nothing really that bearish on it. It just looks like it's trying to break above the range. This is basically like Cypher. Like this is like if you want to talk about miners, like this is Cypher. It's the same chart. So if it breaks above, it's just been forming like like this symmetrical triangle, not symmetrical triangle, it's forming like a ascending triangle. It's having more and more demand. It's trying to eat the supply over here, and once it breaks above like this range up here, at around maybe like 11 to 12 bucks, it was able to break above this range. Like the sky's the limit for this one, but it just hasn't really been able to do that. So I don't know when it's going to end up doing it. It could end up coming down back down further, break out of this ascending triangle, unfortunately, and try to find some support underneath before go up higher. But the truth is, it looks like it wants to break out. It just keeps on knocking on this resistance level here for a very long time. So the next natural thing is probably going to be a breakout, but it's still at resistance. So anything to add? Do you want to show your charts for these or no?
No, there's no need for that one.
Yeah. So I think somebody mentioned RR. I don't know what RR is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either.
It says Rich Tech Robotics.
Must be.
Rich Tech Robotics.
Wait, go to the 3-month chart. That's the best way to analyze. No,
it looks very bullish, guys. Like it looks like it has bottomed.
Yeah, that's a good candle. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, somebody asked about AWM. We go back to AWM in a little bit, but yeah, that's a bullish candle on higher time frame on the 3-month, on the 2-month, on the monthly. It's like basically this one that's been a really bullish chart candle for that. It was very bearish, but that was just a test of demand underneath. There's a lot of demand. So on the weekly chart, I guess that's really the only way I can really chart this thing. Is it at resistance right now? Yeah, it is. It's at the weekly upper Bollinger Band. It's not really expanding out or anything like that, but it looks like it's maybe developing a little bit of a bull trend. As long as things end up staying above the their 20-week and allow our 20-week to kind of flatten and maybe even push up a little bit, then I think this is going to be a pretty nice chart. But so far, I would probably let it play out a little bit. I probably wouldn't enter if it was me. Looking at the Ichimoku, it's that support, Tenkan Kijun Cross, Katana. If it ends up being pushing up bullish, yeah, maybe a big move is coming, but you're still underneath a little bit of resistance, right? So with the Bollinger Band here, so I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this move is it. Maybe it's just going to push up a lot higher. But I have a little bit of reason to be cautious about it because I've seen charts like this, and next thing you know, it just breaks down below. But if you're gonna buy, it's not a bad chart to buy. I just don't know enough about the company, and I still see it being underneath some resistance. SOFI Ichi looks pretty decent. There's a lot of room to run up. Yeah, there's not really any moving averages to look at. So yeah, but those are my quick thoughts on it. I don't know if you want to add anything on it, but
no, we can do BEAMUSD if you want.
It's a coin. I thought it was a company.
It's both. I found out on my live stream because somebody said Beam. I'm like, oh, Beam Pharmaceutical or whatever it was.
Is there more history on like USDT chart? Yeah, there is. Okay. It just looks like any other altcoin, to be honest with you. Like there's not much to say about it. It's been correcting just like any other altcoins for like the last few months. It looks like it's basing. If I'm doing, I think I can look at the RSI, and it looks like it's really forming like a pretty good base. Like it's not the downtrend has been decelerated. It looks like it's looking pretty decent. Let me see if I do like a wave trend oscillator. Yeah, it looks like it's flipping positive. So it doesn't mean that it's going to shoot up higher, right? Because it flipped positive over here, and it still end up making more lows, right? But overall, the trend looks like it's maybe favoring a little bit more of like an uptrend moving forward. The 20-week is not favorable still, so you're going to having some resistance above. It looks like it wants to flip, but it probably would have some resistance. Probably going to end up ranging here for maybe another couple months before going up higher. I just don't see like this shooting up quite just yet. With that said, that's how a lot of altcoins look, and next thing you know, like they just move like crazy, and you just never know. So, do you have a chart for this?
No, you basically covered everything anyways, so it's
at resistance. You don't even need any indicator. Like look at over here. There's a big giant zone over here. that's going to be resistance moving forward, right? So I think it's probably spending at least a few weeks underneath resistance, and then we'll figure out how it goes. And then when you're at resistance, and it can getting rejected and having another lick down, right? But overall, I think it's less likely for it to do that. I think it's performing a phase, but it's at resistance. We're probably just going to range for a little bit. So, yeah.
Totally.
Man, you keep agreeing with me.
well, we do have the same brain, so that's fine.
Your brain is a cat brain.
We do have a question too about like, hello, I'm a beginner. What's the biggest advice? I mean, for me, it'd be don't chase. Let price come to you and try to remain calm.
Yeah, so, I think it's helpful to
and no margin.
Yeah, it's helpful to look at charts because then it really tells you things are way overextended, and anyway, it's good to know. The more you know, the more you see. It's really hard to say. I don't know. Just keep at it. I guess what I'm trying to say. I have nothing bearish about the IWM. I just don't. It just looks like it has like bullish crosses everywhere. On the monthly, it has a katana that's has a big giant, like bullish hammer candle here. Is at resistance. Is trying to break about this resistance zone. I can see it potentially still ranging for another month or two, try to break about this area, but it's going to be pretty strong resistance here because we spent a whole year at this range, and we're back into that range right now. So it might take some time, but I'm not bearish on it. 20-minute moving average crawling up, bullish band looks like it wants to expand, and you just had a big giant wick this month. I have there's a guy that 7 par what was his name? 7 par. That's I think it's like Twitter handle. All sevens is his name. This guy used to have like 50 or 60K followers. He lost his Twitter account. I don't think he ever found out why. And he came back. Now he has like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. He made a video yesterday, and I think it went viral, like about IWM. He does like a lot of these dark pool stuff.
Yeah, he sent me a DM, asked me to look at his video yesterday, and I looked at it. Yeah, it's a really good video. So I recommend it.
Yeah, I basically just copy the whole thing onto my YouTube with his permission. So if you guys want to get out, I cannot be bearish on IWM. I don't care what the short-term price action is. Long-term, like the closer it gets to like 200, if it ends up going down further, the closer it gets to 200, the better opportunity is for long-term. That's basically my message, not financial advice, of course. But you remember I was talking about earlier on the stream where when you have the 20-month moving average just kind of changing trend, you see how it served as perfect, support that broke down over here, right? And over here it serves as like it flipped from resistance to support, right? And you had a big run, right? And over here you end up having breaking down, and then back test failed to break over, and you have big downtrend continuation, right? Over here rejection, over here flip back to support, turning positive. Good things are going to come as far as I'm concerned, looking at the chart, if I have to guess. And it's an educated guess, just based on what I'm seeing here. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything to say about IWM.
All I want to see is more weekly candles close above 221. And then if that's the case, then I think it can go higher. But until then, it's just going to get stuck.
Yeah, I think you talk about it on your morning live streams anyway.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's probably going to have a hard time to expand too much further right now because the weekly looks like it's getting close to upper Bollinger Band, and looks like the volume's kind of exhausting a little bit here on the uptrend. So maybe a little bit sideways, maybe a little bit more down. But again, like the closer it gets to 200 or even 205, I think the more attractive opportunity is to like load up for me, just for myself. I'm not telling you what to do. It's not advice, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm buying TNA, which stands for something that Danny liked. But it's like a triple average IWM. I would not advise like TNA as a long-term hold. I would not advise that at all. The reason why I would not advise TNA is because you have significant decay. Because TNA has really done nothing for like 10 years. So I would not advise buying TNA for long-term hold, but for like the bull market capturing, like I think it's fine, and I'm starting to doing that right now. So yeah.
Well, fantastic. I think we got one more, and then maybe we can call it the ASPN.
ASPN. Who's taking an aspirin? Sorry, I don't know. I'm just lame.
Boom,
Whatever.
boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom. Bullish chart, higher time frame, bull in Japan expanding, a little bit over bull in Japan. So I can see it potentially being a little bit of resistance here, together in conjunction of the volume shelf over here, together in conjunction with this zone over here that, they spend months, getting stuck at. So right now we're just trying to break above resistance. I like the look of this big giant green candle followed by two, bearish candle that wasn't able to overcome this big giant green candle, followed by almost like an engulfing candle over here so far. It's a bullish look, but it's still underneath resistance. So if I was to look at this, I might end up, waiting for price to get down to this volume shelf over here around 17, which it did end up hitting. I think that was like a good buying level. And sure enough, it got bought. And so far at this point, you're at resistance again. So I probably wouldn't buy, but if I was holding a position, I'd probably just end up holding. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Ichimoku, again, underneath resistance, right, at the monthly cloud. The monthly cloud is nothing to sneeze at. When you're hitting like the monthly cloud resistance, I mean, like, it's nothing to sneeze at. Like, look at Clean. It's nothing to sneeze at, right? Look at Shopify. It's nothing to sneeze at,
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, like if you're hitting like the monthly cloud over here, like, I'm a little bit worried, but you did have a bullish cross over here, and overall the structure is bullish. So we'll see how it reacts. I'm like, the moment to buy was at around 17. If I have this, I'll probably end up holding, with understanding that it can go down potentially to like 23, 24. There would be a potential range of support down here, but it can go down further, because it's at resistance. So we'll see. But yeah, I would have been a happy buyer at like 17 if I was paying attention to this. So
Yeah.
thoughts? No.
No, yeah, it looks like it's at resistance right now, which is kind of evident to how it closed the day today. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a rising three. It's not perfect because this candle is a little bit above that. And there's only two, but it's not like, so it's not the perfect rising three, but yeah, the concept is there. So.
But I could see if price did get back to like the 28s or something, I think that could be the opportunity right there.
Yeah, you do have a little bit of like a volume shelf here. I can see that too,
Yeah.
But you still have a little bit of risk down to 24. I think it's possible just because it's red resistance. I'm a little bit worried about it, and also just because like the bull in Japan looks like it wants to need time to expand, right? I can totally see it going back down here, cooling down some technicals before going up while the bull in Japan continues to expand. So.
Yeah. So just let it cool down is the moral of the story.
Yeah, this looks like Palantir, if that helps.
Yeah, it looks like it wants to continue. That's for sure.
Yeah, like if you ride up the volatility, this looks like it wants to continue. So, yeah,
it broke through all that resistance I was talking about, and it didn't even care about it all. And now it's above it all still. So just got to give it time.
Yeah, I mean, like it's a bullish look, but it's a resistance. Just look at the weekly. You know that this is not a good spot to buy because you got like these little like people would call it like a bull flag. But I just don't like these tweezer looking thing.
Yeah, me either.
It just looks a little bit toppy, like it's trying to eat into supply, but there's a lot of supply above. So it's probably like, look at what Bitcoin did when it had something like this. Sorry, I'm gonna go. Yeah, look at what Bitcoin did on the daily. Like, this is just sad, right? Like you have resistance on the daily chart here, trying to break above, not able to. Initially, I was hoping to hold over here. Nope, it's just flushing all the way down. So that's what happens when you have these like kind of tweezer thing looking at resistance and you are not able to break above. So yeah, so be careful. Don't take too much aspirin at this point. Maybe just if you have a position, if you want to ride it out, great. But yeah, a little bit worried about it.
And I'll just show my Gantt chart real quick before we finish it up. And yeah, so all that resistance was this huge zone right here that I was talking about. And it just blasted through it all. Like, not only that, it was like all the not moving averages, but yeah, it was basically the baseline and conversion line that it cut through too, which was even more resistance. And so that all got flipped to support, and it still is support. And I still think the top of the arc, sits at 28. The 45-degree angle sits at 26. The line 25. So it has so many layers of support below it. So I mean, unless it just cuts through everything like it did on the way up. But I don't know. It's not really Tesla now, is it? So Tesla likes to cut through all those layers.
Yeah, even Tesla liked to cut through the support after it found support and just breaks down underneath too. So who knows? Yeah, I don't have anything. Heidi asked about the 2-week chart. I don't have anything special to say about it looking at 2-week. I mean, it doesn't really give me any additional information. So
yeah, let's see. Yeah, not really. I mean, it's in the cloud. Just more confirmation that there's more resistance above, really.
You can see the tweezer there. So, I mean, I'm not, you know,
Yeah, and these 2-week candles still cannot close above this previous high either, which is more confirmation that this is still resistance right here. This zone is a big resistance zone completely.
Yeah. So, yeah, Heidi, sorry if you missed out that big giant green candle that broke through all the resistance. Sometimes it can happen. So
yeah, that was my bad. I was the one that said be careful, right? Just like I told A to be careful on a short. Right? That's like the jinx. I'm like the Jim Cramer of be careful. You know.
Hey, be careful about SOFI, right? $8.
Yeah, be careful about that. It's just gonna blast right through.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we're at like a pretty good spot. Like we did close to 2 hours, and that's just between the two of us. So.
Yeah, we did a good job.
Yeah, we peck ourselves on the back. You can pet me a little bit if you want.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, done. Yeah, just consider it done.
Yeah, stay around the head. Don't go too far down like that.
Fair enough.
I'll hiss at you. Anyway. All right. Well, having too much fun. I think it's time to call it a night. Yeah.
Yeah, call it a night, and see you guys later.
Yeah, Jules, I'm glad you enjoyed that joke. Yeah, we have there's a lot more where that came from. So
all the dad jokes available right here on X.
All right, guys. Okay, thanks, Matt.